Critics blasting President Biden's HHS Assistant Secretary, Dr. Rachel Levine, for a video from May that has resurfaced. Take a listen.
There is substantial misinformation about gender-affirming care for transgender and gender-diverse individuals. The positive value of gender-affirming care for youth and adults is not in scientific or medical dispute. We need to use our clinicians' voice to collectively advocate for our tech companies to create a healthier, cleaner information environment.
Joining me now with reaction is Parents Defending Education founder and president Nicole Neily. Nicole, thanks for joining us. I can't imagine something about which there would be more dispute about the science, the alleged wisdom of administering drugs and performing surgery on children to change their biological gender.
Absolutely, and that's exactly the kind of information that families desperately need. And thanks to bureaucrats like Admiral Levine, that's the kind of information that parents are actually not able to get their hands on, so they're not able to make fully informed decisions. Parents need to know the stories of detransitioners. They need to know the fact that Europe is starting to walk back the kinds of treatments that America is proceeding full steam ahead with. Yet sadly, because people like Admiral Levine are so used to organizations like Twitter, big tech companies doing their bidding, that this kind of information has not been getting into the right hands, and that's really worrisome.
Well, we were talking earlier on the show, with all the damage done from government's effort to suppress debate about COVID. They were so wrong, and so wrong for children in so many cases about lockdowns, and now it appears we're going to do this all over again. I mean, how large is this effort to shut off debate on what should absolutely be debated?
It is horrifying. And let's remember the words of Justice Brandeis. The answer is more speech. These issues should be debated in the public square. People should have access to information. And frankly, I trust my fellow Americans apparently more than Admiral Levine does, because I believe that my fellow parents will be able to read this information, read the studies that are out there, and make up their own minds about what's the best fit for their family, not to have this information throttled by people like them who believe they know better how to raise children than we do.
We were just showing the graphic there with union boss Randy Weingarten, and during COVID, she was really one of the worst offenders with this argument that, oh, we really want schools to be open. It's just we need to have them be safe. And then there would be this long list of totally unnecessary, unscientific, expensive changes we allegedly needed before we could open up. You've been working on this issue. Do you see any good that has come out of this? Are parents more engaged? Are schools and unions perhaps more accountable before they sign off or endorse these kind of shutdowns, which did so much damage to our children?
Well, I think it's so interesting that we're watching the unions try and memory hold their own behavior. I mean, we know, thanks to public records requests done by Americans for Public Trust, that the AFT worked hand in glove with the CDC to keep schools closed. And when parents spoke up, worried about their children's mental health, worried about academic achievement falling off a cliff, they were shamed. The Chicago Teachers Union said that the push to reopen schools is rooted in sexism, racism, and misogyny. The head of the Los Angeles Teachers Union said that, our babies might not have learned schooling, but they learned resilience. I mean, looking at those NAEP scores that came out this fall, shame on her, shame on them for trying to pretend that they had no part in this. And then, while they actually actively kept schools closed, they damaged our children. They should be held accountable.
Okay, let's hope for accountability. Nicole, thanks for joining us.